Female intern fell asleep on stranger's shoulders on a bus, not knowing he's a CEO millionaire. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now let's dive into today's story. It was a week later when Emma found herself standing in a bustling coffee shop, trying to wake up with her third cup of the day. Her shift had just ended, and she was meeting a friend for a quick catch-up. The cold wind outside had left her feeling exhausted, but she didn't mind. She had grown used to the grind. She had been working at the firm for a few months now, still struggling to find her place in the fast-paced world of marketing. As she stirred her coffee absent-mindedly, her phone buzzed on the table. It was a text from Jenny, her best friend. "You look better than I've seen you in a while. Feeling good?" Emma smiled, replying with a simple, "Trying my best." The text exchange felt like a lifeline, a reminder that there was more to life than her job. Still, the weight of her responsibilities was always on her shoulders. She sighed and checked her watch. She had time before she had to head back to her apartment. Just as she took a sip of her coffee, the door of the coffee shop swung open, and in walked a familiar face. It was the man from the bus, the one she had accidentally fallen asleep on. Liam. She froze for a moment, feeling the blood rush to her face as she recognized him instantly. He scanned the room, his eyes landing on her. There was a brief flicker of surprise in his expression, but then he gave her a small, almost shy smile. Without missing a beat, he walked over. "I didn't expect to see you here," he said with a warm tone, his voice calm and easygoing. Emma felt her heart skip a beat. "I didn't expect to see you either," she replied, her words slightly stilted. She was still caught off guard. It felt strange, seeing him outside of the bus and away from the anonymity of their brief encounter. "Mind if I join you?" Liam asked, already pulling out a chair. "Sure, of course," Emma replied quickly, trying to regain some composure. As he sat down, the familiar nervousness she had felt on the bus returned, but this time it was mixed with something else, a curiosity. She could feel her heart racing. She had no idea why this encounter felt so different. After all, she had only shared a few brief words with him on the bus. But there was something about the way he made her feel at ease that made her nervous all over again. "I didn't expect to see you again after the bus," Emma said, her voice a little awkward. "Yeah, I didn't either," Liam admitted with a chuckle. "But here we are." The conversation flowed a little more easily after that. They talked about their lives, their jobs, and the little things that made them laugh. Emma learned that Liam was, in fact, the CEO of a tech company. But he was surprisingly humble about it. He didn't talk much about his wealth or his business. Instead, he asked questions about her life, her dreams, and the kind of things she loved to do. It made Emma feel seen in a way she hadn't felt before, and for a moment, the weight of her struggles seemed to fade into the background. She found herself sharing things she usually kept to herself. "I've always wanted to open my own art studio," Emma said quietly, feeling a little vulnerable. "But I don't think I'll ever have the chance." Liam listened intently, his gaze focused on her. "Why not?" he asked. Emma hesitated, shrugging. "Because I'm stuck in this internship, trying to prove myself. It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel." Liam didn't respond right away, but there was something in his eyes that made her feel like he understood. They continued talking, and as the hours passed, Emma began to realize something: she didn't want the conversation to end. She hadn't felt this comfortable with someone in a long time. Liam's presence, his attentiveness, and the way he listened to her made her forget all about the pressures of her life for a while. As the coffee shop started to empty out, Liam glanced at his watch. "I should probably get going," he said with a slight smile, "but I'm glad we bumped into each other again." "Yeah, me too," Emma replied, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. As they both stood up, Liam paused for a moment. "I know this might sound odd, but I'd love to see your art sometime. If you ever have anything to show, let me know," he said. Emma blinked, taken aback by the unexpected offer. "You'd want to see my art?" "Of course," Liam replied with a smile. "I'm genuinely interested. You never know where a great idea might come from." Emma couldn't help but smile back, feeling a sense of hope spark inside her. She hadn't expected this meeting to turn into anything meaningful, but somehow it had. They exchanged goodbyes, and as Emma stepped out into the cold night, She couldn't help but feel that maybe, just maybe, this encounter was the beginning of something bigger. She had no idea what the future held, but for the first time in a long while, she felt like she was on the right path. It had been a few days since Emma had last seen Liam, and her mind kept drifting back to their conversation. She found herself smiling at random moments, remembering the way he had listened to her, the way he had shown genuine interest in her dreams. She couldn't help but wonder about him, what kind of person he really was. The fact that he was a CEO hadn't seemed to matter much during their chat. He had been so down to earth, so different from the business people she was used to interacting with at work. Was he really that humble, or was it all part of some act? The thought made her uneasy, but she quickly pushed it aside. After all, she didn't know him well enough to make assumptions. Still, there was something about their conversation that had sparked a fire in her. Her art dreams, which she had almost given up on, suddenly felt more possible. She couldn't shake the thought that maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for her to make them a reality. The following week, Emma found herself in another coffee shop, trying to focus on her sketches. She had taken some time off from her internship, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. She was tired of the routine, tired of feeling stuck. As she worked on a new piece, she received a message that made her pause. It was from Liam. "Hey, I was thinking about our conversation the other day. I'd love to see your art. Do you have any time this week to meet up? I'd be happy to grab a coffee and see what you're working on." Emma stared at the message for a moment, her heart racing. Was he serious? She had barely shared anything about her art with him, and now he was asking to see it? She didn't know what to think. It felt strange, but at the same time, she couldn't help but feel flattered. Without thinking, she replied, "I'd love that. How about Thursday afternoon?" Liam's reply came quickly. "Thursday sounds perfect. I'll meet you at that coffee shop where we met last time. 2 p.m.? Emma's stomach fluttered. She wasn't sure what this meant, but she couldn't ignore the excitement building inside her. She spent the next few days preparing, picking out a few pieces of art to show him. It wasn't much, but she hoped it would be enough. Thursday afternoon arrived, and Emma felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness as she walked into the coffee shop. She had never felt this nervous about showing her work to anyone before. As she walked inside, she immediately spotted Liam sitting at a corner table, his back to her. He looked up as she approached, and his face broke into a smile. "Hey, Emma," he greeted her warmly, standing up to greet her. "Hey, Liam," she said, her voice a little shaky. She set her sketchbook on the table and took a seat across from him. "Thanks for meeting up with me. I wasn't sure if you were serious about seeing my art," Liam smiled. "Of course I was. I told you I was interested." Emma opened her sketchbook, revealing a few of her sketches. "These are just some ideas I've been working on. Nothing polished, but I hope you get the idea." Liam leaned forward, his eyes scanning the pages. He was quiet for a moment, taking it all in. Emma felt her heart pounding in her chest, unsure of what he was thinking. But then, after a long pause, he looked up at her with a thoughtful expression. "You've got real talent, Emma," he said, his voice sincere. "These are amazing." Emma blinked, surprised by his response. "You really think so?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I do," Liam said with a smile. "You've got a unique style, and I can see the passion in your work. You just need the right platform to show it to the world." Emma felt a rush of emotions, relief, pride, and even a little disbelief. She had never expected this kind of response. Liam continued, his voice steady but encouraging. "I know a lot of people in the art world. If you're serious about your dream, I'd be happy to help you get started. Maybe even give you a chance to showcase your work at an upcoming event I'm hosting." Emma's jaw dropped. "You're serious?" she asked, her mind racing. "You would do that for me?" Liam nodded. "Of course. You've got something special. Don't let it go to waste." For a moment, Emma didn't know what to say. She had never imagined that someone, especially someone like Liam, would offer her this kind of opportunity. I don't know what to say," she said finally, feeling overwhelmed. Liam smiled again, his expression kind and genuine. "You don't have to say anything. Just think about it. I know you have a lot on your plate, but I think you could really do something great with your art. Let me know if you're interested, okay?" Emma nodded, her heart racing with excitement and gratitude. "Thank you so much, Liam. I don't even know how to thank you for this." "You don't need to thank me," Liam said with a chuckle. "Just take the chance. You never know where it might lead." As they finished their coffee and talked for a little while longer, Emma couldn't help but feel like her life had just shifted. in a way she couldn't have predicted. She had started this conversation with a simple coffee meeting, but now she was facing an opportunity that could change everything. And as Liam walked her to the door, Emma realized that this encounter, this seemingly random moment, was the beginning of something much bigger than she had ever imagined. The next few days felt like a whirlwind for Emma. After her meeting with Liam, she found herself staring at her phone more often than usual, trying to figure out what to do next. She hadn't expected him to offer her such an incredible opportunity, let alone follow through on it. She had always dreamed of showcasing her artwork, but the idea of doing so felt so out of reach. Now, with Liam's offer in her hands, it felt almost too good to be true. Could she really take this chance? Could she truly make something of herself as an artist? Every time she picked up her sketchbook, she found herself questioning her ability. She had always been self-critical, second-guessing every line she drew, every color she applied. But now, after Liam's kind words, she found herself looking at her work in a new light. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers, and it was enough. After much internal debate, she decided to take the leap. She texted Liam back, her fingers trembling slightly as she typed, "I'm in. I'd love the chance to showcase my work at your event." The reply came quickly. "Great, let's set up a time to talk more about it. I think this is the start of something amazing for you." That evening, Emma couldn't shake the feeling of excitement mixed with nervousness. She wasn't sure what this would lead to, but she was ready to give it her all. The next day, Liam called her to set up a meeting, and they decided to meet at a local art gallery that Liam had mentioned during their last conversation. As Emma walked into the gallery, her heart raced. The space was elegant, filled with paintings, sculptures, and photographs from some of the most talented artists in the city. It was a world she had never truly been a part of, and yet, now it felt so real. Liam was already there, standing near a large abstract painting, his hands tucked into the pockets of his jacket. He smiled when he saw her. "Hey, Emma, I'm glad you could make it." "Thank you for this," Emma said, her voice quiet but full of gratitude. "I can't believe I'm here." Liam chuckled and gestured around the gallery. "It's a beautiful place, isn't it? You're going to fit right in." Emma felt a surge of confidence, but it was fleeting. "I'm not sure about that," she admitted. "I've never done anything like this before. I've only shown my art to a few friends." Liam walked over and placed a hand on her shoulder gently. "Emma, I know you're nervous, but that's normal. This is a big step. But you've got something special, something that people will want to see. Don't sell yourself short." His words were simple, but they carried so much weight. Emma could feel the sincerity behind them, and it made her want to believe in herself just for a moment. "I'm here to help," Liam continued. "We'll take it step by step. Let's start by talking about what kind of event you want to have. This is about you and your art, not about anyone else's expectations." Emma nodded, feeling a little more at ease. They spent the next hour discussing ideas for the event, how she could display her pieces, who might be interested in attending, and how to make the experience feel authentic to her. With Liam's guidance, she began to see a path forward. By the end of the meeting, they had come up with a rough plan for an art show, something small but intimate, where she could showcase her work to a select group of people. It felt like the perfect way to start, and the idea of sharing her passion with others suddenly didn't feel as daunting. As they walked out of the gallery together, Liam looked at her with a reassuring smile. "You're doing great, Emma. I'm proud of you for taking the leap. Just remember, this is your journey, and I'm here to support you however I can." Emma's chest tightened with emotion. She had always felt like an outsider in the world of art, but here she was, about to take a chance, about to step into a new chapter of her life. She couldn't believe how much had changed in such a short time. Just a few weeks ago, she had been stuck in a job she didn't feel passionate about, struggling to make ends meet. Now, she had a mentor who believed in her, and she was about to embark on a journey she had only dreamed of. "Thank you, Liam," she said softly. "I don't know how to repay you for all of this." Liam smiled, shaking his head. "You don't have to repay me. Just make the most of this opportunity. Your talent deserves to be seen, and I'm honored to help you get there." Emma felt her eyes welling up with tears, but she quickly blinked them away. It wasn't the time to cry. It was the time to move forward, to embrace the opportunity in front of her, and to finally believe that she could make her dreams come true. She had no idea where this path would lead, but for the first time in a long time, she felt ready to walk down it. As the days passed, Emma found herself caught between excitement and anxiety. The art show was just around the corner, and although she had made significant progress, she still couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't ready. There were so many unknowns. What if people didn't like her work? What if no one showed up? Her heart raced with these thoughts. But each time they came, she reminded herself of what Liam had told her. This is your journey. He had given her the confidence to push through her doubts, and now it was up to her to take the next step. She spent every free moment she had working on her pieces, carefully refining the ones she was most proud of. The event was set for next month, and she knew she needed to perfect her collection, even if she had never put her work out in the world like this before. Every brushstroke, every line in her sketchbook felt like a part of her soul, vulnerable but real. One evening, as she added the final touches to one of her paintings, her phone buzzed on the table. It was a text from Liam. "How's everything going with the show preparations? Need anything?" Emma smiled and quickly typed back. "It's going well, but I think I still have a lot of work to do. I'm a little nervous." Liam's reply came almost instantly. "That's completely normal, Emma. But don't forget why you're doing this. You've got something special, and people will see that." His words always seemed to ease her nerves, as if he had a way of knowing exactly what to say. She put down her phone and took a deep breath. She couldn't let fear control her anymore. The next day, as the event drew closer, Emma visited the gallery again to finalize the details with Liam. The space had been transformed into a beautiful venue, the walls now adorned with stunning artwork. The energy of the room was different. There was a sense of anticipation in the air. Liam greeted her with his usual warm smile when she arrived. "You're here. How's everything coming together?" he asked. Emma felt a rush of gratitude. "It's all coming together, I think. Just a little nervous, but I'm ready," she replied. Liam chuckled and nodded. "You're going to do great. Trust me." As they walked through the gallery, Liam pointed out some of the key areas where her pieces would be displayed. He had carefully curated the layout to make sure her work stood out, and Emma couldn't help but feel a sense of pride as she looked at the space. For the first time, she could truly see her art in a new light worthy of being shared with the world. "I'm so glad you're here," Liam said as they continued their tour of the gallery. "It's your moment, Emma. Don't let anyone take that from you." Emma felt her confidence grow with every step. "Thank you for everything," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "I don't know what I would have done without you." "You don't need to thank me," Liam replied, his tone kind but firm. "You did this. You worked hard, and now it's your time to shine." When the night of the show arrived, Emma was a bundle of nerves. She had spent the entire day setting up her pieces and making sure everything was perfect. The gallery was filled with people, some familiar faces and others strangers who had come to see the new talent on display. Emma's heart pounded as she watched the crowd, but every time she thought about backing out, she remembered Liam's words. "You're going to do great." It felt like a dream as she walked through the room, watching people admire her work. For the first time, she felt truly seen, not as an intern, not as someone trying to make a living, but as an artist with something meaningful to share. Just as the evening was winding down, Liam appeared beside her. "How are you feeling?" he asked, his gaze scanning the room. Emma smiled, the tension easing from her shoulders. "I'm actually enjoying it. I think I'm going to be okay." Liam nodded, a proud smile on his face. "I knew you would be. Look at how far you've come. This is just the beginning for you, Emma." She couldn't believe this was happening. The art show had been a success, and she had proven to herself that she was capable of much more than she had ever imagined. As the night came to a close, Emma found herself standing with Liam near the exit, surrounded by people who had enjoyed her work. "Thank you again," she said, her voice soft but sincere. "You've changed my life." Liam smiled, his eyes filled with warmth. "You did all the hard work. You just needed someone to believe in you. I'm proud of you, Emma. This is only the beginning." As they walked out of the gallery together, Emma felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She had come so far, and yet she knew this was just the start of her journey. With Liam's support and her newfound confidence, she was ready to take on whatever came next. The weeks that followed the art show felt like a new chapter in Emma's life. The success of her first public display of artwork had opened doors she never thought possible, and the overwhelming support she received from the guests and Liam had given her a sense of confidence she had never experienced before. People who had attended the event reached out to her, praising her talent and asking about future pieces. For the first time, she felt like an artist, like her dreams weren't just fantasies, but something she could actually achieve. Liam's encouragement didn't stop after the event. He kept in touch with her regularly, offering advice, sharing his thoughts on her work, and even introducing her to some influential people in the art community. Emma had never felt so supported. She had always believed that success was a solitary journey, but now she realized that with the right people by her side, anything was possible. One evening, as she sat in her small apartment working on a new series of paintings, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from Liam. "I've been thinking about your next steps, and I believe you should consider showing your work at a larger event. There's an art fair coming up in a few months. I think it could be a great opportunity for you." Emma's heart skipped a beat. A larger event? She had only just gotten used to the idea of showing her work in a small gallery. The thought of presenting her pieces at something as big as an art fair made her stomach twist in knots. "Are you sure I'm ready for something like that?" she replied, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. Liam's response was immediate. "You're ready, Emma. You've got talent, and people are noticing it. You've worked hard, and now it's time to show the world what you can do. This could be your breakthrough." Emma stared at the message for a long moment, her mind racing. Was she really ready for this? Could she handle the pressure of a larger event, with more people and more expectations? But deep down, she knew that this was the next step. Liam had believed in her from the beginning, and maybe it was time for her to believe in herself. After all, if she wanted to make it as an artist, she couldn't keep hiding behind her doubts. With a deep breath, Emma typed back, "Okay, I'm in. Let's do it." The next few months were a whirlwind of preparations. The art fair was one of the most prestigious events in the city, attracting artists from all over the world. Emma worked tirelessly, creating new pieces that she felt truly represented who she was as an artist. She experimented with new techniques, pushed the boundaries of her comfort zone, and took risks with her work. Liam continued to offer his guidance, and soon Emma found herself surrounded by a network of other artists and professionals who had the same passion and drive. As the day of the art fair approached, Emma felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She wasn't sure what to expect, but she knew one thing: she was ready. The morning of the fair, Emma stood in front of her booth, surrounded by her artwork. It was all displayed perfectly, and the lighting made each piece shine. She took a deep breath, trying to calm her nerves. This was it, the big moment. She was about to step into a world she had only dreamed of, and there was no turning back. The fair opened to the public, and people began to filter in. Emma's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the crowd move through the space. But as they stopped in front of her booth, she couldn't help but smile. She had put her heart into every piece, and now she could see that it was paying off. People were genuinely interested in her work, asking questions, and even buying pieces. As the day wore on, Emma's confidence grew. She found herself talking to strangers about her art, explaining her process, and sharing the stories behind each piece. She was no longer the nervous intern, hiding behind self-doubt. She was an artist, and the world was taking notice. By the end of the day, her booth had been one of the busiest. She had sold several pieces and received more commissions than she ever thought possible. As the fair came to a close, Emma couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. She had done it. She had taken the leap, and it had paid off in ways she couldn't have imagined. Just as she was about to pack up, she heard a familiar voice behind her. "You did amazing today," Liam said, his smile wide. Emma turned around to face him, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I can't believe it. This is beyond anything I ever expected." Liam's eyes sparkled with pride. "I knew you could do it. You've got everything it takes. This is just the beginning, Emma. You've got a long road ahead, but you're on the right track." Emma's eyes filled with tears, but she smiled. "Thank you, Liam. I wouldn't have made it here without you." Liam shook his head. "You made it here because of your own talent, Emma. I just helped you see it." As they stood together, surrounded by the hustle and bustle of the fair, Emma realized that this moment wasn't just about her art. It was about everything she had overcome to get here: the self-doubt, the fear, the constant questioning of her worth. She had proven to herself that she was capable of more than she ever thought possible, and as she looked toward the future, she knew that the best was yet to come. After the art fair, Emma's life changed in ways she never thought possible. She was no longer just an intern at a marketing firm struggling to make ends meet. She had become a respected artist, with her work being sought after by galleries, art lovers, and collectors. The success of the fair had opened so many doors for her, and she was now finding herself in the middle of a world she had only dreamed about. But with the newfound attention came new challenges. She was busy, perhaps busier than she had ever been before, balancing her day job with the growing demands of her art. Yet, every day felt like a new adventure. a chance to push herself further and discover what she was truly capable of. As the weeks passed, Emma continued to work with Liam, who remained a constant source of support. His belief in her had never wavered, and his guidance helped her navigate the complexities of the art world. They met regularly to discuss her new projects, and he often introduced her to people who could help her expand her reach. She was learning fast, and each new connection she made seemed to bring her closer to the person she wanted to become. But as her success grew, so did the pressure. Emma found herself questioning if she was still staying true to her original vision. She had always painted for the love of it, but now, with the expectation of success hanging over her, she wondered if she was losing the essence of what made her art so special. One afternoon, after another long day in the studio, Emma sat in her apartment, staring at a blank canvas. She had started several pieces, but none of them felt right. She couldn't seem to find her flow anymore, and the frustration was starting to take a toll. Her mind raced with questions. Was she trying too hard to meet others' expectations? Was she losing herself in the hustle of success? She picked up her phone and sent a text to Liam. "I think I'm losing my way. I don't know what's wrong with me, but my art doesn't feel the same anymore." Liam's reply came quickly. "I understand. It's normal to feel that way. The pressure of success can sometimes cloud your passion, but remember why you started this in the first place." His words gave her a sense of comfort, but it didn't take away the overwhelming sense of doubt. The next morning, Emma went for a walk, hoping the fresh air would help clear her mind. As she walked through the park, she passed a group of children sketching with their crayons on the grass. Their laughter echoed around her, and their innocence and joy in their art reminded her of the carefree days when she first picked up a pencil. She smiled to herself, realizing that this was the feeling she had lost. It wasn't about perfection or meeting expectations. It was about finding joy in the process, just as she had when she was younger. Later that day, she texted Liam, "I think I've figured it out. It's not about being perfect or trying to please everyone. It's about enjoying the process again and painting what feels right to me." Liam responded, "That's the spirit, Emma. Don't lose sight of the passion that brought you here. Your art is your voice, and it should always come from your heart." With renewed clarity, Emma returned to her studio that evening. She set up her canvas and began to paint without worrying about the end result. She let her brushstrokes flow freely, expressing her emotions, her thoughts, and her experiences. For the first time in weeks, she felt a sense of peace as she worked. The colors came together effortlessly, and as she stood back to admire her creation, she knew that this was the work she had been searching for. It wasn't about creating something that would impress others. It was about creating something that felt true to herself. The next few months brought more success, but this time, Emma approached her art with a sense of calm. She no longer felt the pressure to meet anyone's expectations but her own. She continued to grow as an artist, experimenting with new styles, techniques, and themes, but always staying true to her vision. As her reputation grew, so did the respect she earned from others in the art community. Liam remained a constant mentor, always reminding her to stay grounded and to trust her instincts. One evening, as Emma was preparing for another exhibition, she received a message from Liam. "I'm so proud of how far you've come. You've not only found success but also yourself. Keep going, Emma. You're on the right path." Emma smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest. She had come a long way from the nervous intern who once doubted her ability to succeed. Now, she was an artist in every sense of the word, and it felt amazing. She was no longer trying to meet others' expectations. She was creating for herself, for the love of art, and for the joy it brought her. As she looked at her work on the walls of the gallery, Emma realized that success wasn't about how many people knew her name or how much money she made. It was about staying true to herself and her passion. With that realization, she knew she had finally found her place in the world, and she was ready to see where the next chapter of her journey would take her. As the months went by, Emma's life continued to evolve in ways she never could have imagined. Her art career had taken off, and she was no longer struggling to get by. She had found success in the art world, but more importantly, she had found herself. The pressures she had once felt, the constant self-doubt, had slowly melted away, replaced by a newfound confidence. She knew now that her art was not just about gaining recognition, but about expressing herself and connecting with others through her work. Her latest exhibition was a testament to how far she had come. This show, bigger than the ones before, was drawing in a large crowd of art lovers, collectors, and critics. As she walked through the gallery, taking in the sight of her work displayed on the walls, she couldn't help but smile. Every painting, every piece of art in the room, felt like a piece of her heart. It wasn't just the success she had achieved, but the journey that had brought her here that made her proud. She had come so far, from the nervous intern who had no idea what her future held to an established artist with her own exhibitions. She had made it, but she also realized that the journey was far from over. As she stood near the front of the room, speaking to a few admirers, her eyes landed on someone familiar. Liam, standing by the entrance, watching her with a proud smile. His presence still brought her a sense of comfort. He had been there from the very beginning, believing in her when she couldn't believe in herself. She made her way toward him, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I can't believe this is happening," Emma said, a soft laugh escaping her lips as she approached him. "Look at this place, it's beautiful." Liam nodded, his eyes sparkling with pride. "You did all this, Emma. You've worked hard, and it's paid off." Emma smiled, feeling her chest tighten with emotion. "I couldn't have done it without you, Liam. You were the one who believed in me when no one else did. You showed me that I had more potential than I thought." Liam chuckled, shaking his head. "No, Emma, you always had it in you. I just helped you see it. All I did was give you a little nudge in the right direction." His words, as always, were kind and reassuring, but Emma knew the truth. He had been a mentor, a guide, a constant source of encouragement throughout her journey. He had given her the confidence to take risks, to step out of her comfort zone, and to embrace her own talent. As the evening wore on, the exhibition continued to draw attention. People were asking about her work, inquiring about her creative process, and even buying some of her pieces. It was overwhelming, but in the best way possible. Emma was living the dream she had once thought was out of reach. At one point during the night, as the crowd started to thin out, Liam pulled Emma aside. "I want to talk to you about something," he said, his voice serious but gentle. Emma raised an eyebrow, curious. "What's going on?" Liam smiled, but there was a hint of hesitation in his eyes. "I've been thinking a lot lately. I know how important your art is to you, and I want to help you continue to grow. I think you're ready for a new challenge." Emma felt her heart race, unsure of what he meant. "What kind of challenge?" she asked, her voice quiet. Liam took a deep breath before speaking. "I've been talking to a few people about possibly partnering you with an international gallery. They're interested in representing you and your work. It would be a big step, but I think you're ready for it." Emma's breath caught in her throat. An international gallery? It sounded like a dream. Something so far beyond what she had ever imagined. But looking at Liam, she saw the same belief in her eyes that had been there from the very beginning. He believed in her, and for the first time, she believed in herself too. "I don't know what to say," Emma whispered, overwhelmed by the possibility. "This is huge." "You don't have to decide right away," Liam reassured her. "But I think it's an opportunity you shouldn't pass up. This could take your career to the next level." Emma stood there for a moment, absorbing his words. She had always thought that success in the art world would take years, even decades. But now, with this opportunity, it felt like everything was happening all at once. And she knew, deep down, that this was just the beginning of an even greater journey. "I'm in," Emma said finally, her voice steady with resolve. "Let's do it." Liam's face lit up with a proud smile. "I knew you would say that." As the night came to a close, Emma stood by her artwork, taking in the incredible journey she had been on. She had started this path unsure of herself, but now she knew that she was exactly where she was meant to be. And with Liam by her side, guiding her every step of the way, she was ready to face whatever challenges and triumphs lay ahead. She had found her voice, her place in the world of art, and now she was ready to make her mark on a much larger stage. As Emma stood in the middle of the bustling gallery, her heart swelled with pride. It had been a few months since that pivotal night when Liam had introduced her to the international gallery that had now become her partner. The excitement of her first international exhibition was almost overwhelming, but she had never felt more ready. The gallery was filled with art collectors, critics, and admirers, all admiring her work. The buzz around her art had only grown stronger since that fateful offer from Liam. And now, as she looked around at the many faces taking in her pieces, she realized that she had truly arrived in a way she never thought possible. This was the life she had dreamed of, but more than that, it was a life she had earned through her hard work, determination, and the belief that others had placed in her. Her success had come not from a single moment, but from a series of choices, from a willingness to take risks and to trust herself. She thought back to the early days, to when she had first stepped into the world of art with nothing but a few sketches and a dream. Back then, it had felt like an impossible journey. But now, looking at the people around her, she understood that the journey was never meant to be easy. It was meant to push her, to help her grow, and to help her become the artist she was today. The path had been filled with challenges, self-doubt, moments of fear, and the constant pressure to be something she wasn't. But with every step, she had found a way to push through, to trust in the process, and most importantly, to believe in herself. As the night wore on, Liam found her amidst the crowd, a proud smile on his face. "You did it, Emma," he said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. "I always knew you would." Emma smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. "I couldn't have done it without you, Liam," she said softly. "You were there from the very beginning, helping me believe in myself when I couldn't." Liam shrugged, his smile never faltering. "You always had it in you. I just helped you see it. You've worked harder than anyone I know. This is all you." Emma felt a lump form in her throat, but she quickly pushed it aside. She had learned long ago that success wasn't just about the accolades or the recognition, it was about the journey, the lessons learned along the way, and the people who had supported her. "I'm just so grateful for everything," Emma said, her voice thick with emotion. "For the opportunity, for your belief in me. It feels like a dream come true." Liam placed a hand on her shoulder, his gaze unwavering. "This is just the beginning, Emma. You've got so much more ahead of you." Emma nodded, her eyes scanning the room full of people. "I know, and I'm ready for it." The night ended on a high note, with Emma standing proud of the work she had created and the person she had become. Her paintings were being admired by people from all over the world, and she was more certain than ever that this was where she was meant to be. She had come a long way since the days of self-doubt and fear, and now she stood at the threshold of a new chapter, one that was filled with endless possibilities. As she looked back at the crowd, she realized that her journey was far from over. There would always be more to achieve, more to learn, and more to create. But with the strength she had gained along the way, Emma knew she was ready for whatever came next. The support of people like Liam had been invaluable, but in the end, it was her own determination, her own belief in herself, that had made all the difference. As the gallery emptied out, Emma took one last look at her work, knowing that this was just the beginning of something much bigger. She was no longer just a girl with a dream. She was an artist, and her story was far from over.